This is Magical Mystery Sandman 1, and this is loosely a spin-off of Mr. Nigel Sandman's big smash hit DC book called Sleepwalker. It is very, very loosely a spin-off, thankfully, because I didn't like any of that stuff. This is the original Sandman, the one from the Metallica song, and it's set back in the 1940s or something, and it's really, really, really barely linked at all to any of the Nigel Sandman stuff. The worst parts of the book are these bits where it's stressing really hard to try and form a link to the Nigel Sandman books, with characters having dreams, like lucid dreams, that are meant to be deep and ponderous, but they're just boring and pretentious. This instead is an art school pulp-style story with some pretty bad art, but not bad enough that it takes you out of the story. And Sandman from the Metallica song, he is a great character, fantastic fit for this sort of story. And the tone and the mood, it's great. It's a bit of a mystery. It's a bit of a noir thriller. And we're telling the story from the perspective of this woman here. She's like the love interest. She ends up meeting Sandman from the Metallica song when he's in his civilian guise. When he's unplugged, Sandman unplugged. And she has a friend who is kidnapped by an evil serial murderer. And that is the mystery part. Here is when she meets Sandman unplugged at one of them fancy social parties that rich people always have. And there's like instant chemistry between them. And I tell you, it would absolutely nail this book, like artistically, Milhouse Brettelweisers and Elizabeth Brettelweisers. Everything about this book, the setting, the characters, the tone, it's like a match made in heaven for the Brettelweisers. But this was done back in the 90s, and back then, they weren't even born yet or something. This is a very slow story, but it goes with the tone, helps set the atmosphere and the mood. I recommend getting the trade, really. Initially, the use of Sandman from the Metallica song is kind of obscured or minimised, like we've got a single page here, and it helps build them up. The bulk of this is like establishing Sandman unplugged and his relationship with that woman, and the conflict that will arise when she sees Sandman from the Metallica song. And when Sandman, he is obviously the prime suspect for kidnapping a friend. I do really enjoy this book. It is a nice genre piece, and I think it being linked to the Nigel Sandman stuff did it a massive disservice. But at the same time, I think that is pretty much the only reason it managed to get to the printers. Here is the psycho killer who has kidnapped her friend, and he is proper mental. And if you are rooting for this fella, this guy, you are a problem. You should go to the doctor and get your headspace examined. And we end, as I imagine most of you have expected, with the girlfriend encountering Sandman from the Metallica song. Obviously not knowing that it's really Sandman unplugged underneath the mask and the costume, and it's to be continued when drama ensues. I like this, but I hate this cover. I didn't say that at the start. I hate covers like this, like the artsy rubbish that is trying to be photo collage type of things. They're very much the Vertigo sort of covers. This book has a lot going for it, but at the same time, it has a lot of little things that try to make it hard to appreciate. Stuff like the forced links to Nigel Sandman stuff, these lame, bad album covers, the art, though the art does change after this first story, I'm going to rate this a 7 thumbs up.